I was devastated. Like my whole world just got flipped upside down. It was everything I ever knew, so there was a lot of shame and guilt and depressive thoughts. I hesitate in saying that I was in a depression, but I was definitely in a dark spot. So what do? You go through it. That's the number one lesson I pulled away from it was the only way out is through. And so I was going through the 5 stages of grief, and I'll tell this to any entrepreneur. You lose that purpose in your life. And all of a sudden, we're wired for purpose, hardwired from God. And so when that purpose is removed, whether it was a joyous sale or a sad sale of the business, you're left with going, what's next? And so I was being recruited by all the financial firms throughout America. And every time I took a meeting, just something felt off. And so it was a lot of prayer and just reflection on my back patio. Usually I'd have a fine cigar and a glass of bourbon. And I was just sitting there working through working through these thoughts, working through and processing why these things weren't feeling right. And God was basically telling me that I've accomplished everything in that industry. It's time to set a different trail. I'm like, all right, what is that? And so I started going down this path and really took time. So those 6 months I was in that legal battle, as hard as it was to not have a purpose, as hard as the instance was and everything being stripped away from me, it was also one of the greatest blessings. And so I say to people now, whether you go through a business issue like I went through, or you go through a life issue of losing a loved one or battling an illness, whatever it may be, none of us are getting out of this unscathed. But sometimes we can actually let the worst things that happen to us be the best things that happen for us. And that's what I wanted this instance to be. My plan was to run that company from age 35 to 55, grow it as big as possible, have as much impact as possible, but God had other plans. He ripped that rug out from underneath me at 41 and said, I got a different path for you now. And so you have to lean into that and go through the fire and come out the other side.
Do you have any tactical tip for the people listening that might be going through a difficult time?